Hi, I'm Vitor Moreno. I'm with Folha de São Paulo F5 Brazil.
Hi,
Hi,
Victor.
Quincy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, and even
Good.
better now that getting to talk to you because
Thank
I'm obsessed with this show. It's incredible.
I agree. I agree. I'm also obsessed with it.
So my first question is, Nora has been in the FBI for more than 20 years. When you first approached her, what did you imagine those 2 decades had taught her, and what had they taken away from her?
Oh, wow. That is a really incredible question. I mean, I feel like those 2 decades, you know, she had to build up a shell. She had to figure out how to sleep at night, which she doesn't anymore. So it has taken away her sleep. It has taken away her, her it's caused her to start drinking, unfortunately. The work that she has done, the work that she does, and that people that actually exist in the world that do this work, it's really, really harrowing. I don't actually know how these folks get through their days. There's so much darkness and trying to like get these bad guys and often like working in vain because we find that the bad guys oftentimes win. But I think there's like a real persistence, a real like dedication, a real drive that Nora has had to like build up, and a real sort of unflappability too. That's one of the things that I love about her. She doesn't let little stuff bother her. Because I mean, how can you,
Mhm.
when you're like climbing this huge mountain? Um, but yeah, I think it's taken away family. I think it's taken away like, as I said, like sobriety. It's taken away, I'm not going to say it's taken away her faith in the justice system because why would she still be there? But she's just like, she's cynical, and she has every right to be.
Mhm.
Did I answer your question? I feel like I was rambling.
For no, you answered for sure. So Nora has also spent much of her career within an institution that hasn't always served women particularly well. She's
Right.
watched men get, opportunities she was denied, sometimes regardless of merit. How
Correct.
important was, institutional sexism to your understanding of the frustration and resentment that she carries?
It was important, but it wasn't a thing that was like a red flashing light because it's so insidious. You know what I mean? It's just like a given that they're just like there are just many, many more obstacles being a woman and being a color, especially in that institution. I think the percentage of Black women FBI agents is extremely low. I mean, it's extremely low. It's like I think 1.5%, or my numbers might be wrong, but I mean, that's ridiculous.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, those ceilings are just like, again, it's just like institutional, and it's just like given circumstances,
Mhm. Which is sad,
which
right?
is extremely sad. But then you get to see, in episode 6 where she like, she triumphs for just a minute and she gets to like spew all this bile, all of that resentment, that she's been carrying around for decades, as you said earlier, and we think she's going to win. And then once again, the system fails her.
Yeah. So Nora's drinking is presented without the show constantly explaining or judging it, which is great. what interested you about the way her relationship with alcohol was written, and what did you want to reveal about her through this storyline?
Well, what I love about the way that it's presented is, yeah, it's not extreme one way or the other. She's never really shown being wasted. You know, um, she exists in this like hybrid space of being drunk and being hungover, you know. So there's that like gray, soupy area in which she always lives. I mean, there were scenes where I pushed the drunkenness, because I felt like that was right. I think we like didn't use all of those all the time. But anyway, so just trying to figure out how to be in that gray space. And I think, she's so good at her job, and she's such a highly functioning alcoholic that it never, until it does, affects her work.
Mhm.
She's not really sloppy until she is, until we see that she's left the bottle on the table, until we see that Ed, smelled alcohol on her breath. But, Nora will, don't underestimate her. She'll work through that as well.
Great. So, one of the great themes of the show is justice and revenge, and this thin line between those two things. And doesn't Nora's experience make that line, clearer to her, or have 20 years in law enforcement actually make her less certain about what's right and what's wrong in this environment?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so fascinating because I do think that her arc like bends towards justice always, and she's a law enforcement officer, right? So there is right and wrong, and she's going to follow the law. She might have to like figure out, get creative, you know what I mean? But ultimately, she wants justice. That's why that's why there is a justice system. That's why there's law enforcement. Hopefully, the goal is to, right wrongs. Um, but yeah, this show raises such a tricky question because sometimes vengeance is justified, right? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it asks that question, and that's what's so like amazing about watching Catherine, when you're rooting for this killer, but you see how she got to this place, It just like, I think it's just a brilliant piece of art. Furious.
It is. I agree with you. So, what do you think Nora recognizes in Alice that makes her keep investing in her?
I think Nora sees a lot of herself in Alice. I think she sees like the younger version of herself, like perhaps the less jaded version of herself. Because Alice is she's a go-getter, and she's very persistent, and she's clearly very good at her job, and Nora can't deny that, you know and so Nora like reluctantly takes Alice under her wing. um, Alice sort of wears her down to get that space under her wing, but then you see that they make this like incredible team. It's like this dynamic duo, and they're both very, very good at their jobs, and I think they complement each other quite well.
Well, Quincy, thank you so much. I think Nora is one of the greatest characters of this year's season. I absolutely love her, and I love the show. I've, as I've already said, I'm obsessed with it, and I'm really happy everyone's getting to see your work.
Thank you so, so much. It's been such a privilege to work on the show. I'm just so happy that, everyone and you included just seem to love it as much as I do. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
Thank
So
you.
sorry, Nora, I didn't see the wrap, the 2 minutes warning, and I don't know if I.
It's
I could
okay.
talk to you all day.
Yeah, I could be here all day because this is so great to be talking about. Sorry and
Thank
bye.
you. Have a
Bye.